Hey everyone, Afternoon Delight here. Welcome back. Today, oh my light. I need to get a new light bulb. Anyway, today we're going to talk about why tracking progress is so important and what ways we can track progress when it comes to our health and fitness. Now, typically when we think of progress, we think of the scale, right? And the scale really doesn't show you how much muscle mass you're losing, how much water, how much body fat. It really doesn't show. It's just the number of your body in whole. So scale can always give us an idea of where we're going, but it's not always a good, accurate measurement. There are physical measurements you can take, which is really, really important, and I'll show you how to measure yourself in a minute. But there is also progress photos as well. So I'm a fitness trainer online. I train lifestyle clients and I do posing for fitness competitors. And really, sometimes you could have a client gain weight. This last week, I had a client gain like 3 pounds, but she lost inches in her waist and her hips. So it's a good point to get 3 points of measurement, which is your photos, your measuring tape, and your weight, so you can kind of see how everything is affecting your client based off of the works out and the nutrition that you're doing. So let's go ahead and show you how to get measured, and I'll show you also how to take progress photos. She is wanting attention today. Okay, so when we're taking our measurements, you want to grab the end of the inch. Now, if you're measuring in centimeters or inches, it doesn't matter, whatever fits you best. But you want to grab the 1 inch here. So you can see I'm grabbing that instead of the higher numbers to start. We're going to grab the lower. So you're going to hold the lower tightly in one hand, and then you're going to place it around you, right? So we're measuring the waist, and then we are going to do it snugly. So we want to do it snugly where we feel like we're getting a little light hug. All right, so I'm 26.5 there. So that is your waist. Your waist measurement is in the smallest part. Dip in, and if you bend and your hip and rib touch, that's the location for your waist measurement. Now next we're gonna measure your hips. Now there is a high hip area. This is where your bones are, but then typically we have the hip area where the largest part of our glutes are. So I'm gonna measure that part here. Again, taking the beginning part of it, and then wrapping around, keeping my feet together, 39 inches. So that's how you'll measure that. A good suggestion when you're measuring something like an arm or a leg is measuring at the midpoint, right? So a good way to know this is to measure. So typically I'll feel the top of my kneecap here, measure up about 6 inches is that midpoint, and then wrapping around. So you're in the same spot every time. As we know, our legs taper. So if you're measuring down here one week and down here another week, it can kind of mess up those numbers, as well as having someone else measure for you. So make sure it's a consistent person, whether it be you, a family, friend, anyone who's in the household with you, able to take your measurements. And again, with our chest, taking our chest measurement, and right here. One time I had a woman say, I don't understand why my chest measurement's going up. Your chest also involves your back. So if your lats are growing in size, of course that chest measurement is going to change. Now let's go to shoulders, because I have a lot of clients measure across, okay? So you can measure across, but also you can measure around, right? This one's a bit harder to do on your own, but this will get your upper track and your upper chest measurement. So typically chest, waist, and hips is great for measurements if you want to take just a few measurements, but you can take other ones as well, especially if you're trying to grow things like your bicep or your calf, things like that. But yes, those are ways to measure. Of course, there's other ways with your calorie and your food, but these are the typical ways to see how you're doing. Now, one thing I highly recommend is if you're like, oh, I don't want to take my progress photos, I don't like looking in the mirror in front of myself, then you know you aren't where you want to be, right? So you're either going to keep complaining about it or do something about it, right? So if you're hiding yourself from taking those photos, take that photo. It'll make reality a reality for you in your mind, because we so much want to like cover up and block out what's actually happening so we can not connect with that emotional feeling, but really connect to your emotions, understand them, and then fix them and take control of your life. So hopefully this helped you today. Hopefully you go out there, take your measurements via photos, measuring tape, and the scale, and have a good day. Enjoy your healthy journey, and we'll see you next time.